All right, folks, let's talk about the politicalization of our American court system. It is absolutely just maybe the worst it's ever been. I'm going to give you my take on it and the impact on Trump's economic agenda. And also, we've got a very special guest. Tom Fitton is here to give us his opinion as well. We'll be right back. All right, folks, I got some breaking news for you. Sources telling Fox Business that the U.S. trade team sent a letter to countries asking for their trade offers by Wednesday. Now, it's unclear which countries got the letter, but it was sent to multiple countries currently in negotiations with the United States. Keep that in mind. This as we talk about or think about the wisdom of our founding fathers, obviously marveled throughout the nation, including the notion of three branches of government. And while all branches of government have become unpopular over time, I got to say, the confidence in U.S. courts, it's crashed, right? I mean, this is before this current term, and it really started a while back. The trajectory lower and lower, and it's taking an interesting path because if you look at this chart behind me, diagonally straight down, right, under President Obama, straight down under President Biden, actually started to turn up a little bit under Trump's first term. But why is it happening now? Now, remember, Andrew Jackson told us all the rights secured to citizens under the Constitution were worth nothing in a mere bubble except guaranteed to them by an independent and virtuous judiciary. The question these days is, after all of the lawfare run amok during the Biden years and courts now intervening more than 181 times against the Trump agenda, is whether the judiciary is indeed independent or virtuous. I want to bring in Judicial Watch, their president, Tom Fitton. And Tom, you know, trade uncertainty now is back on the rise, but not from things happening inside the White House. It's from all of this legal intervention. What's going on here?
Yeah, you had a three-judge panel intervene and try to stop President Trump from pushing through his tariffs. And the markets reacted negatively to that because the court was acting in a way that brought uncertainty to the process. Now, if you're a judge and you don't like Trump's policies, that's your right as an American. But you're supposed to strictly apply the law and not play legislature, not play president, and give the president and the Congress the respect due under the Constitution. And the problem that the courts are having now in terms of their public perception is they're acting like politicians. And when you act like a politician, the public's going to treat you like a politician, and that's why the courts, in my view, their reputation is plummeting among the public. And the Supreme Court really needs to take control of the reins here and rein in these lower courts that are acting like Democratic committeemen in Congress as opposed to neutral jurists.
There are certain judges, I know what their decision is going to be made. When they say it's certain cases, anything involving Trump, I know there's certain judges, once that judge sees it, I already know what the outcome is going to be, and I suppose the White House must know as well. But the public knows, and this is after all of that lawfare. I'm concerned about the idea that, you know, this is the foundation of our nation.
Yeah, it's judicial lawfare in some respects, right? You have these left-wing activist groups, by and large, using friendly courts to hamstring the Trump administration's policy initiatives, which have generally been endorsed by voters through an election.
Right.
No one voted for these judges to be president, but they voted for Trump to be president, and there are powers he's exercising in accordance with his constitutional authorities, and judges don't like it, and rather than sticking to their lane, they're usurping power that the Constitution doesn't give them.
So how do you see things settling out? Because this is now one of these instances, everyone's a lawyer all of a sudden. Everyone's a lawyer and everyone's an expert on tariffs all of a sudden. Well, Section 122, well, Section this. I want to know how Tom Fitton sees it maybe playing out.
Well, you know, as not a lawyer, but someone who's been watching the courts for some time, Trump's going to win some and lose some. I think he's going to win more before the Supreme Court in terms of vindicating his core constitutional powers to run the government. It means hiring and firing people, not being second-guessed by independent agencies that are answerable to no one, and saving taxpayers' money, and yes, exercising tariff policy and protecting the border. All core powers to the presidency in terms of national security, protecting our country from invasion, and matters like that.
Right.
And it's going to be a bumpy road, and I hope the court doesn't undermine its legitimacy in the meantime.
Speaking of second guessing and presidencies, a lot now over President Biden and the auto pen and, what was legitimate, what wasn't legitimate. These are the kind of things I know Judicial Watch is usually out in front on. It feels like right now, just, it's being looked into and investigated. It feels like we could have some court dates here real soon on the legitimacy of the last part of the Biden administration.
Yeah, I think given the crazy nature of the pardons, the fact that they were for no crimes, just general pardons that we have never really seen before in American history to a great extent like this, suggests there was something up in the Biden White House. And given his obvious and evident dementia, now we're all able to talk about it now that the media has blessed the discussion. People are going to ask questions about how policies were made at the White House at the presidential level. Was someone essentially guiding his hand as he signed specific orders, or were they guiding his hand indirectly by taking control of the auto pen and making policy without presidential approval? And the other big question is, was he able to give the approval in terms of having the dementia challenge that he obviously has?
Yeah. Hey, Tom, it's always a great catching up with you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Charles.